The message came on a Tuesday. Dr. Eric Nash nearly spilled his coffee when the patterns appeared on his monitor at the SETI laboratory in New Mexico. After 15 years of scanning the stars for signs of intelligent life, the computer had finally flagged something unusual, a repeating sequence that couldn't be explained by natural cosmic phenomena. "Maya, you need to see this," Eric called to his colleague, his voice barely above a whisper. Dr. Maya Rodriguez approached from her workstation, her brow furrowed. As the team's linguistics expert, she had spent years developing protocols for potential alien communication. She never truly expected to use them. "Is that?" she began, her eyes widening as she studied the screen. "It's artificial," Eric confirmed, "and it's aimed directly at Earth." Within hours, the facility was swarming with government officials. Within days, similar signals were detected by radio telescopes around the world. The message was being broadcast across multiple frequencies, clearly intended to be noticed. After 2 weeks of intensive analysis, Maya made the breakthrough. The signal contained mathematical sequences that established a common language, followed by data packets that included images and what appeared to be language primers. "They're teaching us how to communicate with them," she explained to the assembled officials from NASA, the UN, and various military organizations. "And based on the complexity, we're dealing with an extremely advanced civilization." The first translations revealed something unexpected. Not a single alien race, but a coalition of species called the Galactic Council. According to their initial communications, they had been observing Earth for decades, and now deemed humans ready for preliminary contact assessment. They mentioned 12 major species in their coalition, Maya explained during a briefing at the United Nations. The communications suggest they control most interstellar politics and trade in our region of the galaxy. Colonel Frank Wilson leaned forward, his military bearing obvious even in civilian clothes. "And what do they want with us?" Maya hesitated. "That's where things get concerning. The tone of their messages is condescending. They refer to humans as an emerging primitive species and Earth as a potential development zone. They're talking about us like we're children," Eric added. "Or resources," Wilson muttered. Despite political differences that had divided Earth for generations, the governments of the world formed a unified response committee. Representatives from every nation worked together to craft humanity's first official communication to an alien civilization. 3 months after the initial contact, the Council announced they would send representatives to Earth for what they called an assessment visit. "We should be honored," said the Chinese representative at the UN emergency session. "This is humanity's introduction to the galactic community." "I'm not sure honor is what they have in mind," responded the delegate from Nigeria, pointing to the latest translation. "Look at their wording. Primitive potential, developmental supervision, resource management evaluation. They're not coming to welcome us as equals." The debate raged for days, but in the end, Earth had little choice. The Council's messages made it clear. They were coming whether invited or not. On a bright April morning, Earth received notification that a Council vessel had entered the solar system. Satellite networks tracked its approach. A ship larger than anything humans had ever built, moving at speeds that defied current physics understanding. As the ship established orbit around Earth, Maya received the final communication before the delegation's arrival. She read it aloud to the assembled world leaders, her voice steadied despite the implications. "The Galactic Council acknowledges your primitive species response and has assigned assessment rank D7 to your world. Prepare to receive representatives who will determine Earth's potential status and resource value to the greater galactic community." Eric looked up at the screens showing the massive alien vessel now orbiting their world. "So much for a warm welcome," he said quietly. Humanity's first contact was about to begin, and the Galactic Council had already made their opinion of Earth quite clear. The Council ship hung in Earth's orbit like a metallic predator, sleek, imposing, and unmistakably alien. After 3 days of tense waiting, a smaller vessel detached and descended toward the designated landing site outside Geneva. World leaders, scientists, and military personnel gathered at the massive temporary facility built specifically for this moment. Dr. Eric Nash stood beside Maya Rodriguez, both wearing their best formal attire. Captain Alan Wright, recently appointed as military liaison to the alien delegation, joined them at the front of the reception area. "Remember," Alan said quietly, "no sudden movements, no unauthorized questions. We follow the protocol exactly." The shuttle landed with barely a sound. Technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. When the doors opened, the Council representatives emerged. 4 different alien species, each more otherworldly than the last. Leading them was Ambassador Exorthal, a tall reptilian being with iridescent scales and vertical pupils. Behind him came representatives from species the Council communications had identified as the Varine, the Monteri, and the Gelax. "We acknowledge your presence, humans," Exorthal said, the words translated through a device on his scaled neck. His tone carried the same condescension as their written messages. "The Council's assessment begins now." For the next 2 weeks, the representatives conducted what they called a standard evaluation of Earth, but their methods left the human delegation increasingly uncomfortable. "They scanned our nuclear facilities without permission," Captain Wright reported during an emergency meeting. When I objected, Ambassador Exorthal said primitive species aren't entitled to privacy concerns. Maya nodded grimly. "The translation matrix we've developed is picking up their private conversations. They're mocking our technology, our governments, even our physical appearance." "That's not the worst part," Eric added, sliding a tablet across the table. "Our security team caught the Varian representative collecting human DNA samples from discarded items. When confronted, she claimed it was standard procedure for species cataloging." President Laura Green studied the evidence with a deep frown. "What exactly are we dealing with here?" "Colonizers," Alan said bluntly. "They're assessing us the way European explorers once assessed indigenous populations, not as equals, as resources." On the 15th day, the Council representatives called for a formal meeting with Earth's delegation. The grand conference room fell silent as Ambassador Exorthal stood to deliver their assessment. "The Galactic Council has completed its preliminary evaluation of Earth," he announced, his reptilian features impossible to read. "While your species shows rudimentary intelligence and basic tool use, you remain centuries away from consideration for even provisional council status." A murmur ran through the human delegation. "Your technological development is chaotic and inefficient. Your planetary governance is fragmented. Your understanding of quantum mechanics, faster than light travel, and basic dimensional physics is—" He paused. "Quaint." Eric clenched his fists under the table as Maya placed a warning hand on his arm. "Earth will be designated as an undeveloped system," Exorthal continued. "Council observation posts will be established in your solar system to monitor your progress and ensure you don't develop technologies that might threaten more advanced civilizations." "And what exactly does this designation mean for Earth?" President Green asked, her voice steady despite the insult. The ambassador's mouth stretched in what might have been a smile. "It means the Council will guide your development, human. Undeveloped systems may be utilized for necessary resource extraction according to Council needs. Your species will be protected, of course, in designated habitation zones." As the Council representatives departed for their orbiting ship, the human delegation sat in stunned silence. "They're not here to welcome us to the galactic community," Maya said quietly. "They're here to claim us." Alan's face hardened as he watched the shuttle ascend. "Then they've severely underestimated what humans do when threatened." 1 month after the Council delegation departed Earth, Dr. Maya Rodriguez sat in her lab watching alien broadcasts with growing anger. The Galactic Council had wasted no time sharing their assessment of humanity across interstellar channels. Earth had become the laughingstock of the galaxy. "They've edited the footage," she told Eric as he entered the room. On her screen, carefully selected images of Earth's wars, pollution, and poverty played on a loop. They're portraying us as nothing but violent savages. Eric leaned closer to the monitor. The translation software revealed commentary from various alien species, all mocking humanity's primitive nature. Look at how they fight over meaningless territory divisions. Their atmosphere modification project is particularly amusing. They call it climate change, and can't even stop it. I've downloaded 17 Earth entertainment channels. Their attempts at drama are hilarious. Captain Alan Reich joined them, his face grim. It gets worse. Look at this. He pulled up another broadcast, a popular council entertainment program that had created Human Planet, a reality show where alien celebrities toured Earth, interacting with humans as if they were amusing animals in a zoo. Observe how the human attempts to explain their crude combustion vehicles, narrated the alien host while interviewing a confused auto mechanic. They still burn fossil fuels for transportation. Simply adorable. The studio audience roared with laughter. This is psychological warfare, Alan said. They're dehumanizing us to justify whatever comes next. Maya nodded. Their broadcasts mention Earth minerals and resources constantly. They're preparing their public for exploitation. The observation proved correct. Within days, Earth's monitoring stations detected new council ships entering the solar system, massive industrial vessels designed for mining operations. The UN Security Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation watched in horror as satellite images showed the alien ships deploying equipment to the asteroid belt and outer planets. They haven't even contacted us, President Green said. They're just taking what they want. The mood darkened further when the Council finally sent a message, not to negotiate, but to inform Earth that they had declared the solar system undeveloped resource territory. A small preservation zone would be established around Earth itself, but everything beyond lunar orbit now belonged to Council mining corporations. Hope came from an unexpected source. Late one night, Maya received a transmission on a frequency the Council didn't monitor. The sender identified himself as Kelnar, a scientist from one of the Council's lesser species. Not all of us agree with the Council's treatment of emerging worlds, the alien explained. Your species is being exploited under policies that benefit only the ruling species. This has happened before. Kelnar shared information about the Council's true structure, not the peaceful coalition they claim to be, but a hierarchy where powerful species controlled resources and kept primitive worlds dependent. They're planning to establish development outposts on your planet next month, Kelnar warned. Once those are in place, they'll begin extracting Earth's resources too, not just your outer system. After verifying the information, Maya, Eric, and Alan brought the evidence to world leaders. They see us as a joke, Alan told the assembled representatives, a primitive species to be mocked and exploited. Then we need to change their perception, said Dr. Samuel Gordon, a physicist who had been quiet until now. And I might have found something interesting in their transmissions. He displayed complex data showing the quantum communications technology the Council used. There's a pattern here they don't seem to recognize, but it corresponds to human brainwave frequencies. I think there's something about our minds that's unique in the galaxy. For the first time since the Council's mockery began, Maya felt a spark of hope. If they're going to treat us like a joke, she said, then maybe it's time we deliver the punchline. Olivia Reeves hadn't planned to make a breakthrough that would change humanity's future. The young engineer was simply testing modifications to Earth's quantum communication receivers when she noticed something odd. Every time she adjusted the equipment, the readings changed before she touched the controls. At first, she thought it was a malfunction. After 3 days of testing, she realized the impossible. The equipment was responding to her thoughts. It doesn't make sense, she told Dr. Samuel Gordon in his laboratory. The quantum field shifts when I focus on it. Not just sometimes, every time. Dr. Gordon, initially skeptical, connected monitoring equipment to measure Olivia's brainwaves while she interacted with the quantum receiver. After 5 hours of tests, his hands were shaking with excitement. It's not the equipment responding to you, he explained. Your brain waves are naturally entangled with the quantum field in ways I've never seen before. Further testing revealed something extraordinary. It wasn't just Olivia. All humans possessed this ability to varying degrees. While the council species communicated through artificial quantum technology, human brains naturally interacted with quantum fields in ways the aliens couldn't detect or replicate. Within days, Dr. Gordon assembled a team including Dr. Nash, Dr. Rodriguez, and specialists from labs around the world. Working in secret facilities shielded from council observation, they developed what they called thought-link technology, devices that amplified the natural human ability to influence quantum states. The council doesn't know about this, Maya explained during a classified briefing with military and government leaders. Their scans showed our technology as primitive because they were looking for artificial quantum manipulators like theirs. They never thought to look for biological quantum entanglement. Colonel Diana Foster, a military strategist with extensive experience in asymmetric warfare, immediately recognized the potential. "This is our advantage," she said, studying the data. "If humans can communicate through quantum entanglement naturally, we can coordinate without the council detecting our signals." President Green nodded slowly. "So we have a way to talk to each other that they can't intercept. How does that help against their advanced technology?" Eric stepped forward. "We've been analyzing the council technology from their broadcasts. Much of it is more advanced, yes, but their quantum communication system is the backbone of everything they do, from ship coordination to weapons targeting. And if we can interact with quantum fields directly," Colonel Foster continued, "we might be able to disrupt their systems in ways they've never defended against." The revelation sparked a global secret initiative. On the surface, Earth governments appeared to accept council authority, even welcoming the scheduled development outposts with public statements of cooperation. Meanwhile, underground facilities on every continent worked to develop thought-link technology and understand its potential. Olivia Reeves led the engineering team, creating increasingly sensitive devices that amplified human quantum interaction. Within weeks, they achieved secure instantaneous communication between ThoughtLink users anywhere on Earth. Within 2 months, they could detect and read council quantum transmissions without alerting the aliens. They're planning to establish 12 outposts, Maya reported after intercepting council communications. Once in place, they'll begin systematic resource extraction from Earth itself. The countdown had begun. Earth had less than 3 months before the council arrived in force. Colonel Foster presented her strategy to world leaders. "We build ships, small, fast, and equipped with ThoughtLink technology. Nothing that would read as advanced on their scans, but ships that can move in perfect coordination through human quantum connection. A coordinated defense against vastly superior forces," President Green said thoughtfully. "It's a desperate gamble." "Yes," Colonel Foster agreed, "but they've left us no choice, and they've given us the perfect advantage." She smiled slightly. "They've underestimated us so completely that they won't see us coming." For the first time since first contact, humanity had hope. The species the council mocked might just have found their voice. Under the cover of night, the newly constructed Earth ships moved silently from underground facilities to hidden launch points across the globe. Designed to appear primitive to council scans, each vessel contained ThoughtLink technology at its core. Captain Alan Wright watched as the latest squadron assembled in a remote desert bunker. "How many now?" he asked Colonel Foster, who stood beside him monitoring deployment. 300 vessels ready for launch," she replied. "Another 200 nearing completion. Not much against their fleet, but enough if the ThoughtLink advantage works as we hope." The training of Earth's first space combat pilots proceeded around the clock. Unlike traditional pilots, these men and women learned to connect through the ThoughtLink network, sharing perceptions and moving as a single coordinated unit. The technology allowed instantaneous communication that the council couldn't detect. Again, Captain Wright instructed a group of exhausted pilots in the simulator room. "Your movements must be perfectly synchronized. If even one of you hesitates, the entire formation breaks down. The pilots closed their eyes, activating their thought link connections. On the screens, their simulated ships moved in perfect unison, executing maneuvers that would be impossible with conventional communications. Meanwhile, Dr. Nash worked with their alien ally Kelnar, who had risked everything to help Earth. Through secure quantum channels, Kelnar provided crucial information about Council ship vulnerabilities. Their vessels rely on automated quantum field navigation. Kelnar explained during one secure transmission. If those fields were disrupted, their ships would be temporarily blinded. And can the ThoughtLink technology create that kind of disruption? Eric asked. In theory, yes. Human brainwaves operating in sync could generate quantum interference patterns no Council ship would recognize as a threat until too late. Across the world, Earth maintained its facade of submission. Council observers were welcomed with practiced humility. Earth representatives attended Council briefings about the development outposts, nodding obediently as the aliens explained how humans would benefit from Council guidance. Your species shows promise as manual laborers, a Monterey representative told a gathering of world leaders. Council mining operations always need workers for difficult environments. President Green maintained a neutral expression. We are grateful for the Council's interest in our development, she replied, the practiced words tasting bitter. In orbit, Council survey ships continued mapping Earth's resources, oblivious to the preparations below. Their scans showed only what they expected to see: primitive technology, limited space capabilities, and an accepting population. Dr. Maya Rodriguez led the intelligence division, intercepting and analyzing Council communications. Her team discovered the Council's mining fleet was larger than initially believed. Over 40 massive extraction vessels accompanied by security ships. They're planning to strip mine the solar system, she reported during an emergency meeting, starting with Mars and the asteroid belt, then moving to Earth's rare minerals. Their communications discuss human labor camps. Time frame? Colonel Foster asked. 2 weeks. The mining fleet enters the solar system in 14 days. Captain Wright studied the projected course of the incoming Council fleet. Then we have 13 days to complete our preparations. The final week before the Council's arrival was a blur of activity. The last Earth ships were completed and launched to hidden positions throughout the solar system. Pilots and crew made final adjustments to ThoughtLink systems. Defense strategies were practiced until every person knew their role by instinct. On the eve of the Council fleet's arrival, Captain Wright addressed the gathered pilots from a secure underground base. Tomorrow, everything changes, he told them. Either Earth becomes a footnote in Council history, or we show the galaxy what humans are truly capable of. He looked at the determined faces before him. They call us primitives. They mock our abilities. Tomorrow, we speak back. As Earth's defenders took their positions, Council mining ships approached the solar system, expecting no resistance. The trap was set. The Council mining fleet entered the solar system with the confidence of predators encountering prey. 47 massive ships, each larger than anything humanity had ever built, moved toward the asteroid belt in perfect formation. Their security escorts scanned for threats out of habit rather than necessity. After all, what could primitive humans possibly do against the might of the Galactic Council? On the bridge of the lead mining vessel, Mining Director Zervac reviewed the extraction schedules. Begin preliminary scans of the third planet's mineral deposits, he ordered. We'll start with their rare earth elements once the asteroid operations are established. Director, his security officer interrupted. We're detecting unusual energy readings near the Earth moon. Primitive vessels, but more than expected. Zervac waved a dismissive appendage. Earth maintains a small lunar outpost. Nothing of concern. Sir, the readings are moving. In the command center beneath Geneva, Colonel Diana Foster watched the Council fleet's approach on a holographic display. Around her, operators managed the ThoughtLink network connecting Earth's defenders. The moment had arrived. "Initiate Operation Pushback," she ordered. Captain Alan Wright, leading the main Earth fleet from a stealth position behind Mars' larger moon Phobos, received the command through his thought link. No verbal confirmation was needed. The entire Earth Defense Force felt the order simultaneously. "Synchronize," he mentally projected to his pilots. 300 ships, hidden throughout the solar system, activated their thought link drives in perfect unison. The Council fleet's sensors suddenly registered movement everywhere. Earth ships emerged from hiding positions in a perfectly coordinated maneuver that should have been impossible without advanced quantum communications. "Director," the Council security officer called out in alarm. "Earth vessels approaching from multiple vectors." "Impossible," Zervac snapped. "Their technology can't." His words cut off as the bridge lighting flickered. Throughout the Council fleet, navigation systems suddenly displayed contradictory information. Communication between ships fragmented into static. Earth's vessels, moving in perfect thought-linked harmony, executed maneuvers that confounded the Council targeting systems. Each human pilot felt the positions of every ally through the quantum connection of their minds, allowing coordination beyond anything the Council had ever witnessed. "Our quantum field is experiencing interference," reported a panicked Council technician. "I can't isolate the source." Captain Wright led his squadron in a sweeping attack run that targeted the mining fleet's propulsion systems. Precision strikes disabled engines without threatening life support. A demonstration of control, not destruction. Within 30 minutes, the entire Council mining fleet hung motionless in space, their systems disrupted by targeted quantum interference generated by the synchronized human brainwaves. From her position in Earth orbit, Dr. Maya Rodriguez initiated the next phase. The Thought Link network expanded to include the planet's communication arrays, amplifying her message across all Council frequencies. "Attention Council vessels," she broadcast, her words translated into all 12 major galactic languages. "This is Earth. Your mining operation ends today." On the main Council ship, Zervac watched in disbelief as a human face appeared on his communication screen. "Your vessels have been disabled through technology you deemed impossible for primitives to possess," Maya continued. "We could destroy your ships. Instead, we have chosen to demonstrate restraint, something the Council failed to show Earth." The broadcast continued, transmitted simultaneously to every Council world across the galaxy. The Galactic Council mocked humanity, called us primitive, and planned to exploit our world. Today, Earth speaks back. "We are not your resource. We are not your labor force. We are humanity. And we have found our voice in the galaxy." Council communication channels exploded with activity as the broadcast reached worlds throughout Council space. Several species, long marginalized by the dominant Council powers, immediately reached out to Earth with messages of support and alliance offers. The Council's Security Committee convened an emergency session. For the first time in its history, the mighty Galactic Council faced a crisis it hadn't anticipated. A primitive species that had turned the tables. Humanity's response had been delivered. The galaxy was listening. The Grand Council chamber had never hosted representatives from Earth before. Now, Dr. Eric Nash and Colonel Diana Foster walked its gleaming floors as equals, not supplicants. 3 months had passed since humanity's surprise defense of their solar system, and today marked the formal restructuring of galactic governance. "They're still watching us," Diana whispered as they passed a group of draconian representatives. Half in fear, half in curiosity. Eric nodded slightly. Better than mockery. The chamber filled with representatives from over 200 worlds, the 12 major Council species, and the many developing worlds that had lived under their rule. The session began with the traditional chiming of crystal bells, a custom dating back millennia. Ambassador Exorthal, who had once dismissed humans as primitives, now stood to address the gathering. His proud bearing remained, but the condescension had vanished from his voice. "The Council acknowledges the events of the past season and recognizes the need for structural reform," he announced formally. Earth representatives have requested speaking rights to present their proposed changes. Eric approached the central platform, the Thought Link device at his temple connecting him to the Earth delegation and their allies. As he spoke, his words were translated instantly into all galactic languages. For too long, the Council has divided worlds into advanced and primitive categories, he began. This division allowed exploitation and colonization disguised as development assistance. Earth proposes a new framework, one where all sentient species have rights regardless of technological advancement. Murmurs filled the chamber as Eric displayed evidence of Council corruption, secret mining operations on protected worlds, exploitation of labor from developing species, and the systematic suppression of technological innovation that might threaten the dominant Council members. The evidence had been compiled with help from Kellinar and representatives from other marginalized worlds. It painted a damning picture of the system Earth had defied. The Council mocked us, Eric continued. They broadcast our struggles for entertainment. They planned to strip our resources and reduce our people to labor. But in doing so, they revealed their greatest weakness: arrogance. Colonel Foster stepped forward, triggering the chamber's holographic display. Images appeared showing the Thought Link technology that had given humanity its unexpected advantage. Earth discovered something unique, she explained. Our brains naturally interact with quantum fields in ways Council technology can't replicate. We offer to share this discovery with all worlds, regardless of development status. The chamber erupted in excited discussion. For many species, this technology could eliminate their dependence on Council-controlled communication systems. Dr. Maya Rodriguez, joining remotely through the Thought Link network, addressed the gathering next. Her image appeared in the center of the chamber, projected from Earth. Humanity proposes a reformed galactic governance structure, she said, one based on mutual respect and protection of all sentient rights. The quantum link technology will be freely shared, with one condition. The chamber fell silent. The exploitation ends today. All worlds, regardless of technological development, retain sovereign rights to their resources and development path. For 3 days, negotiations continued. Some Council species resisted fiercely, but many others, particularly those who had suffered under the old system, supported Earth's proposals. The coalition Earth had formed now represented a majority of galactic worlds. On the final day, the vote came. The old Council structure was dissolved. In its place, a new galactic alliance would form, with governing seats allocated by population rather than technological advancement. As the session ended, Captain Alan Wright joined Eric and Diana on an observation deck overlooking the spectacular ringed planet that hosted the Council station. Hard to believe 3 months ago they were broadcasting shows mocking us, Alan said. Humanity surprised them, Eric replied. We didn't respond with weapons or wars. We responded with a better vision for everyone. Maya's voice joined them through the Thought Link. The first Earth embassies open on 12 worlds next month. We're sending scientists, diplomats, artists, showing the galaxy who we really are. Diana watched distant ships moving through the planet's rings. They called us primitive. They mocked our struggles. They never expected us to change the entire game. That's the thing about humans, Eric said with a smile. We've always been good at surprising ourselves. 5 years after the formation of the Galactic Alliance, Earth had changed in ways few could have imagined. Cities now featured alien architecture alongside human designs. Students learned languages from across the galaxy, and in the night sky, the lights of orbital stations twinkled alongside the stars. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, Earth's first major orbital diplomatic hub. Below, the blue-green planet rotated slowly, while above, ships from 24 worlds docked and departed in a continuous flow of interstellar traffic. Still hard to believe sometimes, said a voice behind her. Captain Alan Wright joined her at the viewport, his uniform now bearing the insignia of the Earth Space Command. That we went from being the galaxy's joke to this. Maya gestured at the bustling station around them. Every day. Alan nodded. The Education Exchange Program just approved its 10,000th student. We'll have humans studying on 50 different worlds next year. The ThoughtLink technology that had saved Earth had evolved into something greater. Now refined and enhanced, it formed the backbone of a new galactic communication network that connected minds across vast distances. Species that had once been isolated under council rule now participated fully in galactic society. In a laboratory 3 levels below, Olivia Reeves worked with a team of human and alien scientists. Her discovery of human quantum brainwave patterns had blossomed into an entirely new field of science. The Varian neural structure shows similar patterns, she explained to her colleagues as they examined brain scans. Different frequency, but the same potential for natural quantum entanglement. One of her alien colleagues, a blue-skinned Monteri named Zilra, nodded in excitement. With modifications to the interface, we could include my species in the expanded ThoughtLink network. The scientific cooperation extended beyond communication technology. Earth's previously primitive approaches to medicine, art, and environmental management had proved valuable to many advanced species who had over-specialized their development. The exchange of knowledge flowed in both directions, enriching all involved. Dr. Eric Nash had become Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Alliance Council. Today, he was returning home after a year-long diplomatic tour. As his shuttle approached Harmony Station, he reflected on how completely the galaxy had transformed. Several former Council species had initially resisted the new order, attempting to maintain their privileged position. But the coalition Earth had formed proved stronger than their opposition. The new governance structure ensured no single species could dominate as before. Ambassador Nash, welcome back to Earth space, came the control center's greeting as his shuttle docked. Eric stepped onto the station to find Colonel Diana Foster waiting for him. Now General Foster, she headed Earth's defense coordination with allied worlds. How was the diplomatic circuit? She asked as they walked through the busy corridors. Productive. We've secured agreements for 17 new exchange programs, and the former Council hardliners are finally coming around. Diana smiled. Amazing what can happen when you take away someone's ability to exploit others. They entered a conference room where representatives from Earth and 7 alien worlds had gathered. On the main screen, Maya's ThoughtLink research team presented their latest findings on cross-species neural compatibility. With these adjustments, Olivia explained, we can now include 3 more species in the direct ThoughtLink network. Their unique neural patterns actually strengthen the overall connection. Eric watched the presentation with quiet pride. The technology that had given Earth its voice now offered the same to species across the galaxy. What had begun as a defense mechanism had evolved into a tool for unprecedented cooperation. Later, as Earth rotated into night below the station, Eric joined Maya and Alan on the observation deck. The 3 friends who had helped change the galaxy now watched shooting stars trace paths across Earth's atmosphere. We still have challenges ahead, Maya said. Not every species supports the alliance structure. True, Eric agreed. But we're facing them together, not as rulers and subjects. Alan gestured toward Earth. 5 years ago, they called us primitives. Now students from 50 worlds study our history, our art, our science. Maya smiled. Turns out having a voice is contagious. Once one speaks up, others find their courage, Eric finished. The galaxy will never be the same. And as night fell across the planet that had once been mocked by the stars, humanity continued to write its newest chapter, not as the galaxy's joke, but as an equal voice in its future.